This workshop. We're going to start off with prayer, if it's okay with you guys. All right, let's pray. Lord, first we said thank you for all you've done. Thank you, Lord, for watching over us, protecting us, Lord. Lord, we ask that you expand our knowledge, Lord, as we discover relationships, Lord, to first have a better relationship with you and then have a better relationship with others, Lord. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, so the topic of today is God is my hope, expecting the best in all my relationships. So this is going to be interactive. I'm going to ask you guys some questions, okay? So first question is, in your opinion, what is relationship? Take a moment.
I would say that it's a bond between one person and another.
Okay.
To add on what you said, like a bond or a certain like connection you have with another person.
Cool.
I agree with both.
Yeah.
Connection between one or more individuals.
All good answers. All good answers. So that's why I came up with, well, I looked on the internet.
Yeah.
The way in which, in which two or more concept objects or people are connected, or the state of being connected. The state of being connected by blood or marriage. And the way in which two or more people or organizations regard and behave towards each other. So one of the first relationships we encounter with, in our lives is with our parents, right? So first we gotta look at the verse. Exodus 20, chapter 20, verses 12. It says, honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long in the land that which the Lord your God is giving you. Okay, so my question to y'all is, what does it mean to honor your parents? Okay.
Respect.
Yeah.
Love.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else? Continue. All right. All great answers, of course. Honoring your parents will include respect them, show them love, not only saying I love you, but actually doing it in action. We do a good job of verbally saying I love you. That's nothing, because of course we naturally love our parents, but it's different when we actually show our parents that we love them, by, for example, doing the chores. Sometimes, they always ask, oh, do this. Then, just one day be like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead, take out my chores before them even saying anything. And they really appreciate that, because they notice you get the concept of, taking responsibility of your actions. Seek guidance and wisdom. Obviously they live longer than us. So in certain, life can be troubling, it can be up and down, but seek guidance from them. They may know something about it. And it's okay for them not to know. They may know someone that may be going through what you're going through, Always seek wisdom from them. Forgive them. Parents make mistakes also. All of us are human. Parents are human. They make mistakes sometimes. They're human, and they will tell you, I'm sorry for maybe misunderstanding something. But it can be misunderstanding sometimes, Of course, we may be bad like 99.9% of the time. But that 0.1 of percentage of the time, you know, they may make a mistake or something, and you know, forgive your parents, you know, because they make mistakes also. Find time to spend with your parents. You know, you only get parents. You know, I understand some may not have parents. You know, they may have guardians. You know, seek time to spend time. You know, spend time with them. You know, either do something fun with them. You know, go to a ball game, or go to go out to eat, have a game night. You know. Spend time with them. That quality time helps out. You know, it builds the morale within the family. You know. The benefits of honoring your parents includes God's protection, lifelong protection, His provision, deliverance, just a life of abundance, man. So just one advice to get away from this point is, it is best to learn this while you are young. Because if you can grasp this, God will honor you as you become older. You know, of course, as the verse said, honor thy father and thy mother. So your days will be long, because you know, disrespecting your parents is not the way to go. It may seem cute now on social media to, you know, fight your parents or backtalk your parents or, you know, just plain on disrespecting your parents. But God would not honor that also. So you have to take the punishment or take the reward with disobedience also.
That's good.
So that's one of the first relationships we encounter. So the next relationship we may encounter is having friends. Some do, some don't. So relationship with your friends. So I want to ask you guys, what do you look for in a friend?
Someone that isn't like the exact same as me, like, you know, diverse, but like I can tell that they're like a good person.
Okay. That's good answer. I like that.
Qualities like
Yeah.
characteristics that
Okay.
Definitely diversity. You know, someone like Russell was saying that has the same qualities, the same interests, but loyal.
Yeah.
Someone that's loyal. That have your back.
All right. Very good. Very good. Very good. So let's flip the script for a second. Let's flip the script. Take a step back and ask yourself, how can I be a good friend? So with all that you guys just said, that's what I pretty much put down. First, be Christ-like, you know, not, you know, be overshadowed like, oh, I'm Christian, y'all, I'm Christian. Just letting y'all know I'm Christian. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, just be yourself, be authentic. You know, you don't always have to say it. It's like I say, it shows in action also, you know.
One of my friends is named Christian, and he's not like one of those kids that speak out too much.
Yeah.
Like he's like a to himself certain person.
Yeah.
But he can make friends. So I mean that was partly why I became a friend, because he doesn't really talk too much.
There you go. That's what's up. That's good. That's a good quality to have. Very good quality. You know what I'm saying? They encourage you, like you do, you know. Encouraging people. You know, you want people that will encourage you, you know. That always seeks the best for you, you know. You may have friends, you may have some friends, but some of them may have how can I say this? A disadvantage, or they may have something against you, but they wouldn't say it out loud though. They'd be a little sneaky about it. They want you to fail. They say they want to see you, soar high, but at the same time, they don't. You know, honesty, being straight up. It's okay to be. I guess some people are blunt. Some people are ready to say, "Hey, man, what you doing? What you doing, man?" It don't make no sense. Some might be a little calm and say, "Hey, I just want to let you know, that might not be the best option for you. You don't have to fight, okay? You just have to be peaceful." Some just, straight up, just go ahead and say it as it is. Accountable. It's kind of like not switching roles, but being a part of their lives. Like, you see them doing something, you want to protect them by saying, "Hey, man, don't do that. I don't want you to get hurt. Because, if you do this, you will get hurt by what's coming to you. Loyal, as Deacon Ryan said. Loyal through the good times and the bad times. A lot of people will leave you in the bad times when things not going so well, when storms are raging. They'll leave you. The few that will stick with you, keep them. Keep them. Authentic. Kind of going back to being honest, straight up. What I'm saying? Kind of going back to me saying, it's not always saying what you are, but actually, doing the things that you profess to do. Profess that who you are, I should say. One of the advice I want to leave on this one is be more of an influence to your friends than having your friends influence you. I know a lot of times, of course, you hang around in school, you hang around with a group of people, and they may do something, dumb, there you go, something stupid, okay, I hate to use that, but they want to also peer pressure you to do the same thing also. But if you let your light shine in them, let your light shine, they may take note of how you handle situations, They may handle situations in one way, but you handle it in another way. They may look at that, and they may not say it, but they may look at that and say, "Oh, okay, I might try that one time to see where it gets me." You know what I'm saying? So, okay. Then another relationship we want to tackle is relationship with your neighbor. Yes. I feel the same way. Definitely. And verse we want to look at is Mark 12, 30 and 30. It's chapter 12, verses 30 and 31. It says, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind and with all your strength." The second is this: love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. And one of the things I've said is, your neighbor is not just the person living next to you, but also, a co-worker or a classmate. It's like I said in previous, especially for me being on the job, your character counts. Your character counts at your job, and if they know you're slacking off, that perception will be with you for the rest of the time. If they know that you work hard, they will notice that. Especially, you don't know who's looking at you.
Yeah.
You don't know who's looking at you. You just do the best you can.
Yeah.
You make, for me, I work at an apartment complex. And, I do my job. It's hot. I'm tired. I just do my job, whatever. And you may get arrested. I may get arrested and say, "Hey, you know what? I appreciate what you do. You know, you're taking your time, clean up. It looks good when you clean up. I appreciate what you do. And it, you know, it makes me feel good. Before hearing the comment, I would, why am I doing this? You always figure out, why am I doing this? That's not really satisfying to me. But when you hear stuff like that, from a customer or, from anybody, it makes it more worth it to work harder than you do. Even, and another point I want to say is, even when there is differences in lifestyles and opinions, still show Christ-like characteristics to them. We may have a neighbor. You may have a neighbor that's possibly a different religion. You still be cordial with them. Say, hey, how you doing? All that stuff. But eventually we may have something in common together. We do something. That's okay, cool. That's how you can build relationships. Find something in common with the person and build off of there. You don't have to automatically preach to them. When you first go, hey, how you doing? My name is Lonzo. Oh yeah, do you know Jesus? But build a relationship with them, and you have, once you have like your neighbors and all that stuff, especially your neighbors, you build that community within. Then you look out for each other. You may be out of town, and you ask them, hey, can you look out for me? I'm gonna be out of town. Oh, I got you. So yeah.
Oh, yeah, that happens a lot in school. I would say 6th grade was when I found out like social media had a big difference in how people were friends in school. Like there was people using their social media and nobody knew. And it everybody would be split up into groups. There'd be the cool kids and there'd be kids nobody hangs out with, and then there just be those other kids. And I didn't really understand it.
Yeah, social media nowadays is crazy. It just depends on how you use social media. Some people use it for bad. Some people use it to have another personality, basically another life. Some, I'm saying some, not any. Some use it for good. It just depends on how you use it, basically. So, anybody else have any comments before I move on?
No, I just think that was a good point that you said in terms of building the relationship with them.
Yeah.
It might be 3, 4, 6 months before you get them to come to church with you, or but just meeting them where they are, still maintaining your characteristics. You might like putting yourself aside or whatnot. But if they can see how you act and how you live, sometimes that's the best way to get people over, besides going and say, hey, I'm Ryan, do you know Jesus? You know what I mean? So that's a really good point.
So a verse I want to leave with you guys, it was part of a paragraph or list of verses. Romans chapter 12, verse 18. If possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. And when I looked at that, I was like, it really falls on me, basically, how I treat the relationship. If I'm gonna be nasty to somebody, then the relationship gonna be nasty. If it's not, if I don't speak to nobody, then that's what the relationship is. I can't expect, me not speaking to you, and then I want to ask something for you. I don't speak to you all this time, then all of a sudden you ask me, oh, can I borrow something from you? I'm like, kind of suspicious on that. I'm going to take a no for 300. Okay? So, have a relationship with your neighbor. And then also, with a lot of relationships, we have conflicts in the relationship. We may have arguments, someone might have said something harmful to another, and sometimes it takes us up, takes us off guard, you know what I'm saying? We may be hurt or, upset, at that person, How can we resolve conflicts? Either you hurting someone or you being hurt, betrayed, lied on in our relationships. So I just want to first pose that question to you guys. How do we resolve conflict in relationships?
Talk to nobody. Talk about the situation. When we got to that point, hopefully it's all.
I would say, the basic answer would be like forgive and forget, but like Russell said, you gotta talk to someone because if you just keep that in, so eventually you're gonna like erupt.
Mm-hmm.
So like that would go back to like a parent who needs to get latched with them,
Mm-hmm.
so you could handle that situation well.
That's right. That's good. Smart. He's smart.
They got it. I have nothing else to add at that point.
I don't have nothing to add.
That was good.
So,
You have to acknowledge, like, okay, here we go.
yeah.
When you
Pray and give your situation to God.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's all right.
Talk to the one that hurt you or that offended you, as you guys were saying. Always good to talk things out with the person, and like Deacon said, acknowledge the part that you played in the situation. That helps out. That will help out a whole lot. You see, if you have people denying their part, then the situation is not going to go anywhere. It's not going to be resolved at all. I apologize to the one that offended you.
Vice versa.
Right. Apologize to the one that you offended, I should say. You always have to do that. That and forgive the person too. Forgive the person that hurt you. You trust me, forgiveness will release a whole lot of things. A whole lot of things in your life. If you be obedient, just be obedient to God and forgive. And also to apologize, your life will be much more better to let all that go. Reconcile to one another. Basically what we've been talking about. Talk about it. Say I'm sorry or I forgive you of the situation. You may not always get the results you want. Just know that God will honor your obedience in the situation. Now, I want to be candid for a moment. I had a situation with my neighbor maybe a couple years ago. He had lost his mother, and he was upset, and I was outside moving my car. And he wants to speak to my mom, but I said no. She's busy with something. One thing led to another. He came to my yard and pushed me. Now, of course, I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to buckle up. But if it wasn't for my neighbor across the street, said, Alonzo, just go home. Just go home. Just get in the house. Get in the house. Get in the house. And and if it wasn't for that neighbor, I don't know if you would have seen me today. I'm just gonna let you know. I just want to let you know. And then, I got into the house. I told my mom about it. And then the guy came over that pushed me. That was, upset. And he started talking. He apologized to my mom. And my mom was talking to him and saying, you shouldn't be apologizing to me. You should be apologizing to my son. And one thing led to another, and he cursed my mom out.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So imagine Oh, I'm raging now. It was like at 100. It's like over 100. Okay, and then he made some type of threat to me, and I want to get out there, blah blah blah, and all that. So about a few months later, I tried to talk with him about it, and of course, I'm trying to be obedient and at least talking with him about it, forgive him what he done, and some of the things he said. How can I say I wasn't really satisfied with? I say, all right, whatever. You just had to let it go. I just had to let that situation go. I had to give it to God. I had to forgive him, maybe from a distance, but I forgive him for what he's done. I think I want to also acknowledge my role. I wasn't as close to the gentleman, but I was close to his mother that passed. I was, very close, speak to her. She was very nice, didn't have much of a great relationship with the gentleman. So I want to acknowledge my part in saying I could have built a better relationship with him, so it won't have to escalate that far. So you may not get hey, I'm sorry for what I did, or I forgive you. You just have to be obedient to the situation. You just have to do your part in the forgiveness or I'm sorry. Okay, so now we're moving past that, the thick part, the tough part, into finding your mate, either wife or husband. Maybe okay. So I want to ask you guys, what do you look for in a potential wife and husband? Now I want to go to Deacon. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
That's
sorry.
fine.
Before you met Sister Griffin, what were you looking for in a potential mate?
Yeah, I mean, definitely someone that had something in common with me. Someone that was Christ-like or a Christian, or she was. Someone that I could talk to, someone that could be like a prayer warrior for me and I for her. And really a helpmate, Ours is a little different because we were so young. We were teenagers, but like as an adult, that's what I would be looking for. And someone you could communicate with and have, real conversation with.
There you go.
So
that's why that's my Deacon. Anybody else? What do you guys look for in potential mate? Oh, all right. You're not there. You're not there yet. I understand. Take your time. So
that's definitely take your time.
Take your time.
Don't settle for the first person.
Yes.
Man, wow.
Look. So this is what I came up with. Must have a relationship with Christ. That's how can you say, when you're trying to find a mate, you have your non-negotiables. Certain things you stand and believe on. That's your non-negotiables. My non-negotiable is you have to have a relationship with Christ. Yeah. That's just plain and simple. Be selfless. At times we see, at times you see maybe on social media or whatever, certain couples or a certain person of the couples, maybe more of themselves than of the unit. You have to make some sacrifices for the family unit instead of doing it for yourself. It'd be kind of selfish for me to, we have so for example, we may have a budget. And I blow the budget by buying Amazon stuff.
Amazon will get you, won't it?
Amazon will get you, my friend. Yes, sir.
Hell yes.
And just blow the budget and remind you that's your budget possibly for bills or for groceries and all that stuff. And I just blow it. That's selfish. That's selfish. You have to make the sacrifice to be selfless in the relationship.
Compromise is huge.
Compatible and compromise.
It's huge. It's huge.
You have to be, well, for compromise, you have to be flexible in your relationship, Some things you can't always do. You have to come in agreement with your mate, with your husband or wife. Compatible is, yeah, I'll give you an example. Yeah, we both may have, we may be Christ-like. Both of us, yeah, we love Jesus. We cool. But personalities, now, that might be where the similarities end, though. Goodness. Dick, I need your help on that. I need your help on that.
Okay.
I need your help on compatible. Can you give me an example, a good example of compatible?
Of how you be compatible with your mate?
Yes.
What you say, John? Compatibility, it doesn't mean that you all are obviously not the same, but
Right.
you're able to come to compromise on things. I mean, it goes with your number 4.
Yeah.
Compatible and compromise go with your number 4. It's having like characteristics and you're interested in the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're all different. There are things that I like that Ree doesn't and she likes that I don't.
There you go.
But at the core, we're compatible. We're equal. You know what I mean? We like to say equally yoked.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So that's what I would say.
Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to be friends. It's okay to build a friendship before going into a relationship. Because sometimes we tend to jump into the relationship and, not giving time to know each other. We have to take that time to know each other, So we know who we deal with. Right? Enjoy each other's company. I know some couples, they may love each other, but at the same time, they can't stand each other. Can't stand living in the same house. Even before getting married, they can't stand each other. So obviously, they're not.
Number 5.
Yeah. They ain't built nothing, and they're definitely not compromised or compatible. 2 verses I want to leave y'all with is Proverbs 18, chapter 18, verse 22 is, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. That is true.
That's true.
In Ephesians chapter 5, verse 25 is that husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it. And then, of course, you round up all those relationships compiled is adding up to having a relationship with God. And a lot of the relationship or similarities is having a relationship with God. So, for just a quick question, how do you honor God in your lives? Just curious.
Living as godly as possible.
Okay. Okay.
Whenever I'm in school, keep an open mind.
Okay.
Like people who get left out, I make sure they're included.
Yeah. There you go. Give me the answers. One, giving our lives to Christ. You know, just to surrender every aspect we have. You know, it's hard to do at times, but if we surrender our all to Him, He will bless you immensely by sacrificing. Surrender your life to Him. Living by His standards. You know, we can say, "Oh, I'm Christian, all that stuff," but I'm doing something totally opposite. That's no. And you know, everybody fall. Everybody fall. I fall. Everybody fall. But to proclaim that and then just disregard of the standards of living Christ-like, that's a big time risk. Read and study His Word in the Bible. You know, take time to read the Bible. You know, take time to study it. You know, you can always use, of course, read it and try to get an understanding of it. You can, of course, use the internet and, maybe type of the verse in you're looking at. And, go from there. Just get a better understanding of what God is trying to say in His Word. Prayer and meditation. Basically, prayer is your communication with God. Just giving Him thanks. Saying hello, say good morning. That's for some people. Just thanking Him for all the things He's done and protecting me and guiding me, and ask for direction in life. We of course, obviously, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or within the next few minutes. We're asking for His provision, in what He wants us to do. Of course, honor your parents. That is one of the commandments we go by. Obviously, that's what we talked about earlier. Living a life of worship. And everybody have their different types of worship. It's not just one type. Some of us are singing. Some of us are dancing. Some of us are artistic. Do a life of worship to Him, to God, the way you feel comfortable. And displaying characters of God, be loving to people, being a peacemaker, be, like Thomas said, being open-minded, be helpful, and many other things. I want to leave you with this verse. Galatians chapter 5, verses 22 and 23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law. So basically, if we can display this to a stranger, anybody we know, maybe a family member that's not, don't have a relationship with Christ, if we can display these, it can be much easier for them, much easier to draw them